destroys and snares. We have already come. Grace has brought me safe thus far, and grace will lead me home. When we've been here 10,000 years, bright shining as the sun, we know there's days to sing God's praise than when we first begun.
Oh.
Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved and set me free. I once was lost, and I am found, was blind, but now I see.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
We don't need music.
Hey, Kim, I had a little trouble. The visual went away.
Welcome, everybody, to the Center for Conscious Living. There are practitioners and ministers around the room and on Zoom. So if you have something that's on your heart, please just let it go and let the practitioners and the ministers take care of that for you.
I got it back.
If you hear, we had a wonderful time at our fundraiser last night. So grateful for all of you and for your generosity for our fundraiser. So if you will all repeat after me. I open my heart to the universe, accepting love and peace.
I open my heart
to the universe, accepting love and peace.
My heart to the universe, accepting love and joy.
I open
I
my
open my heart to the universe, accepting love and joy.
I open my heart to the universe, accepting love and complete health.
I open my heart
to the universe, accepting love and complete health.
I open my heart to the universe, accepting love and abundance.
I open my heart
To the universe,
accepting love and abundance.
Abundance.
What is the microphone?
Good morning, CCL. It is so lovely to be here with you today. With our guests today with us, Dr. Ani, who's going to illuminate some beautiful teachings, some openings in our consciousness, some blessings that she is bringing us in the vast expanse of her experience and of love. And we know today that in this power of this one love, in this beauty and grace that moves in and through all of us, and Dr. Ani, that the words of the universal love of God, of infinite mind, of peace, of passion and compassion, all move through her during this service. We know that within each and every one of us, the breath arrives with the receiving. And so we open ourselves to receive today all the gifts of this service, all the music through Ginger, all the song in your hearts, all the words that flow in consciousness, all the blessings of love. We share this today wholeheartedly in this moment, blessing all who are here, blessing all who have come early, blessing all who will stay late, knowing that the divine perfection of all that is always unfolding in this moment now. We see this service, knowing that all of this is by divine appointment with each and every soul who is here, who is thinking of being here, who is on Zoom, and who we are present to in any portion of their life or heart, mind or soul. We bring this full consciousness as CCL in the full awareness that we are one with everything everywhere. Just take a moment to bless those who are in any kind of suffering this morning, remembering especially in this moment, those in Morocco, allowing all of this to come to peace for the divine fruition of the blessing and holiness in each moment. We take a breath without worry, without doubt, into the love. And we extend that love into the world, into the room around us, into our own hearts. This is where it all begins, and it grows and extends itself everywhere, ever expanding in the holiness of this one love. We are so grateful. We are so grateful to be here for this community and for the community of life that we all live within, as and through. And we say together, and so it is. Thank you. right. We're all huddling close together, but can you hear us? Okay, great. We're going to do this as a call and response. The idea of today is don't look and see what's happening behind us. Just stay right here with us. Okay? That's the rule of today. Stay present. Okay, so we're going to do this as call and response. If anybody would like to stand and say this affirmation to ground it into your feet, into the earth, into the damp, wet, beautiful, rainy earth of this morning.
That we need so desperately.
Yes, that we love receiving. So here we go.
The love of God enfolds me. The mind of God inspires me. The Spirit of God enlightens me. The power of God encircles me. I am in God and all is well.
In God and
I am enthusiastic, excited, expectant, and at peace.
enthusiastic,
Excited, expectant, and at peace.
and
So it is.
You can stay standing if you want, or you can sit for this next chant.
I love you, I'm sorry, forgive me, thank you. I love you, I'm sorry, forgive me, thank you. I love you, I'm sorry, forgive me, thank you. I love you, I'm sorry, forgive me, thank you. I love you, I'm sorry, forgive me, thank you. I love you, I'm sorry, forgive me, thank you. I love you, I'm sorry, forgive me, thank you. I love you, I'm sorry, forgive me, thank you.
So I would like to take a moment to introduce you to our speaker this morning, Dr. Ani, and I am going to let her say her last name to you so that I know she knows how to say it right, and I just really don't want to mess it up. So we love you. Thank you so much for
Kalayjian.
joining us. Thank you so much. And just to give you a little bit of background, because I know she will share most of her story with you. She is a Syrian Armenian-American psychologist. She is herself a survivor of the Syrian conflict and her family. She's an academic, also an author and a poet. And we want you also to know that on the back table are so many abundant opportunities to get in touch with what she's doing in her work in the world, her work with the United Nations, and her work in all of our hearts and her own heart to keep and stay in this purity of love that we are all just, what is the word? We are so honored to receive this gift of love. She's devoted her life to studying the impact of trauma and helping others heal so they can reach a state of wholeness and peace. She will share her work and her process with us this morning. She will be back to do a workshop with us at another time. Today we're going to get the precursor and the beauty that she is just in her own beautiful, heartfelt way. So I invite you to welcome Dr. Ani.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Good morning, everyone. I'm so honored to be with you today and so grateful. And the theme today and the love is just, I feel it, and I feel like it's lifting me up like a parachute, and someone has to hold me down. So I'm using my bell to ground myself and keep me grounded and in peace. I'd like to start with a short love meditation, which is kind of active, where you would be moving your arms. So I'll first ring the bell for us to be mindful of this wonderful gift that we have together. And then when you inhale, starting from the heart, inhale, opening the heart, we say, I am love. And then we put our thumb and index finger together and we come together. Love is all around me. And then we move our hands down from our shoulders to our elbows. So inhale, I am love. Love is all around me. I am love. Love is all around me. I am love. Love is all around me. And one last time. I am love. Love is all around me. Thank you so much. As sardonic Chinese saying states, may you live in interesting times. And indeed, aren't we living in a very interesting times, ladies and gentlemen? And may you live interesting times indeed is giving a positive message, taking the best of what God and universe, Mother Earth, galaxies has presented to us. It has been a challenge for me starting from childhood, and part of life is suffering, going through different traumas. And a lot of the question is why a psychologist really goes into the field is usually to heal themselves and their communities. And it was very apparent for me to be born in Syria because my father was genocide survivor from Ottoman Turkish genocide. And I have had a lot of traumatic individual experiences of the war with Israel, then collective traumas of the starvation, and then the generational trauma of inheriting the genocidal generational trauma from my father. It was pretty much a lot of suffering. And I thought to myself, oh my God, my dissertation has to be on meaning in suffering. But mind you, I had just been here like 8 years or 10 years when I was embarking in this. So I wrote a really passionate proposal about meaning in suffering. And I was called by Columbia University's doctoral dissertation chair and reprimanded that how did I not reference Viktor Frankl, that this is his theory. And I was dumbfounded. I was so embarrassed. I was humiliated. And I'm like, no one told me to read this book. I had no idea about this book. And I thought I was inventing something. You know how thoughts and ideas are just circulated. They're not really, they don't belong to anyone particular. So that was the journey where it helped me to find Viktor Frankl, not only his books, but actually take a course with him and really sit down and have a heart-to-heart talk. And when the Syrian war started, I wrote a poem, and I know Reverend Catherine loves poems, so I'm going to share my journey through the poem that I wrote. I'm a Syrian refugee. I'm an Armenian Syrian immigrated in the mid-1970s. My first week in our American high school in Fort Lee, I was called a dirty immigrant. When I asked what I was, I responded Armenian. They asked in a very demeaning way, what's that? I said, well, Armenia was partially a republic of Soviet Union, but it's independent since 92. The other larger part is occupied by Turkey due to the genocide. They pushed me away and they said, oh, then you're a communist, stay away. But I told them I was not even born in Armenia, I was born in Syria. And as my father and his family were forced out of their homes in Anatolia after killing 1.5 million. They forced all the Armenians out of there to the Arabian March in the Arabian desert. I'm a Syrian refugee. And they ask, where is Syria? Yeah, oh, you must be a terrorist then. Do you have refrigerators? How about television? Do you ride camels and donkeys? And continued with their sly remarks, putting down who I was and where I was from. It has been 8 years since the war in Syria, and it's not only due to dictator president, it's because larger countries all around Syria has made Syria a battleground to sell their arms and ammunition, weaken Syria, which was the only strong Arab country in the Middle East. In 2016, when they were negotiating Syrian refugees coming to America, there was a congressman advising to allow only Christians and not Syrians to America. And I was shocked and dismayed, wondering, don't you know that Syrians could be all religions? And what does religion got to do with terrorism anyway? Why is that I don't feel lucky and happy about being born Christian? Because perhaps it was a century ago, Armenians were beheaded because they were Christians. If they did not convert from Christianity to Islam by Ottoman Turks. Shall we exclude all Christians as terrorists in Columbus, Ohio were Christians? Shall we exclude all Jews as those oppressing Palestinians in Israel are Jewish? Shall we exclude all Buddhists as the terrorists in Myanmar are Buddhists? And where do we stop? And where do we draw the line of sanity and stop this? I'm a Syrian refugee, and I'm grateful for the human rights that we enjoy here in USA. I was tired of being squeezed between two brothers, stripped of all my human rights as a girl first, and then as a woman, subject to gender stereotyping and discrimination. But here, I'm grateful of all the opportunities I enjoy in USA. Imagine my parents didn't even let me ride a bicycle in Syria. Here, I ride a motorcycle. We were traumatized of wars all around us and in the Middle East as well. Here we are in like a pseudo bubble. We contribute to conflicts all around the world, and then we sit pretty, mighty, kind of pseudo safe and big, while we wonder, why are certain people targeting us? I'm grateful of all the opportunities I enjoy here in USA. Well, they should be practiced everywhere around the world, as the United Nations Universal Declaration of Human Rights states that all human beings are born free and equal in dignity and rights without distinction of any kind, such as race, color, gender, language, religion, political or other opinion, national or social origin, property, birth, or other status. I'm an Armenian Syrian refugee, now an American citizen. I'm filled with sadness and disappointment as we are subjecting thousands of humans to unnecessary trauma. Just today, I got the number of refugees, 42 billion. Instead of embracing Syrians with empathy and compassion, we are becoming border judges, examining their fate, yet no one is asking what has happened to our fate. And how about the golden rule? Do unto others what you wish to be done to you. But I also have much hope of empathy as I meet strangers even who will come to me and express words of empathy because of my fallen relatives, again, falling as we speak in Syria and in Armenia. Compassion, and they give their condolences, which fills my heart with peace and instilling a deep sense of togetherness, hope, and ever-present compassion, the courage to endure, the passion to take one day at a time, doing the best that I can, and the wisdom to be truly, truly mindful and present. So that's the journey that took me to where I met Viktor Frankl. And at that time, I was, can I have one of the chairs, David? I was really experiencing a lot of physical, digestive, and other issues. So what I do usually as people is that I mentioned 4 kinds of traumas. It's the individual trauma, that which you experience. Generational trauma that you can't see, but it's just like diabetes, we inherited. And then we say, why is that my belly hurting? I didn't eat anything that doesn't agree with me. Or maybe you're carrying on your back and say, why is my back hurting? I don't remember carrying anything heavy. So each trauma gives us a different challenges, our physical body as well as emotional. So the first thing that I learned is to drop those down and then express what I'm feeling around those experiences that I went through. And that release is what Harry Stack Solomon talks about, release as getting into closure. The release is what Freud says is catharsis. You get it off your chest because we don't have USBs internally or external drives to put them in compartments and say, let's go on. I'm going to put this generational trauma in this USB and leave it over here. We don't have those. So we have to put it down or else our body is going to be very challenged to continue the journey with all these. And I can mention in the workshop, just quickly, from the brain, hormones, heart, digestive system, muscular, skin, everything is impacted by these traumas. So we put it down, we express it, we talk about it, and then what Harry Stack Sullivan emphasized, the importance of empathy and validation. So if someone says, what genocide? Like the whole world was denying genocide happened. And in fact, Biden just admitted it. USA even 100 years was denying the genocide and they just accepted it. And from 200 countries, only 32 countries accepted. So we put it down and then we use it as stepping stone. We come up with each trauma, we are propelled like a parachute up. And now I am seeing things, chandeliers from the other side that I was unable to see before, trees from these windows here that I was unable to see, because when I am a victim, I'm always looking down and all I see is dirt and discomfort and more suffering. And then unconsciously, as a magnet, I pull those to my life. And have you heard people say, oh, it comes in 3s or 7s, bad luck? It's not, it's our understanding of that. So with each, you will propel yourself to higher knowledge, higher experience, higher grounding, higher connection with the universe. And when that's what really I got out of, even though Viktor Frankl didn't talk about intervention, but in fact, he did talk about, for me, thank you, to be able to help the Armenian community to forgive, because we were doing the research, long-term impact. 70 years had passed since 1915 Ottoman Turkish genocide. So we tried to find out, how did these people survive? What were their strengths? What were their challenges? And I found a lot of anger from sadness, depression that hasn't been released. So, and why are not they releasing for 70 years? Because they want to hold on, prove to the world it happened, because everybody keeps denying it. So they wouldn't even want to move. We were doing workshops, healing workshops. They were like, we have to make sure first, you have to go and talk with the Turks and get them to admit that it happened. And I'm like, you can't expect your so-called the person who denied it for 100 years, they're not going to come one day and be filled with consciousness and say, we're sorry that we denied for a year, and yes, it happened. We have to find a way for collective validation, like these groups here, where we can come and validate and not wait for political action, because that being at the UN, it's a little grim to expect that, because even at the UN, we have been every year harassed by the Turkish Council. Every time we have a program on preventing genocide, they come and disturb, throw chairs. I'm talking at the UN. Throw chairs, bang doors, stand up and talk while the chair is talking, and write curse words on the program, Turkish curse words. So in spite of all these political challenges, we have to continue by focusing on the healing, because ultimately, once the healing happens, as Viktor Frankl says, you can't jump into forgiveness before you have a chance to heal. And he, with his Viennese accent, heavy Viennese accent, he said, you have to help them forgive. And I was kind of shocked. I said, Dr. Frankl, how do you forgive when everybody denies and nobody says anything happened? And he goes, how long do you plan to wait? It was like kind of, lights, camera, wake up. I was like, yes, you're absolutely right. Why is everybody waiting for that? You have a question? Oh, sorry. I thought that someone had the hand up. So that in fact, was my shift internally, my GI and other muscle issues, as well as approaching my community. Of course, my community rejected that vehemently, the F word, and they said, you cannot talk about forgiveness. You have to go and talk to the Turks. And it be like, I was like a poem between the Turks and Armenians would say, I'm a traitor, I'm giving the wrong diagnosis. And I have paper clips proving that. And the Turks, of course, completely in denial. They're like, this woman is crazy. She's saying things that never happened. It was a war. There was no genocide. So I was for 10 years back and forth. In the meantime, psychology itself, the science was reprimanding. I almost was thrown out of Fordham University because, oh, she's using the F word, forgiveness. That's not scientific. That should be in the churches and other spiritual centers. That's not been scientifically studied. That was 23 years ago when we first started with this movement. And then now, if you search now, you will see hundreds, if not thousands of research showing how meaning making and forgiveness are instrumental. It's like your life GPS is going to show you the proper healthy direction and path to take in life. And that's what we've been working on, because everything can be taken away in a 30-second, like in Morocco, the earthquake happened, or any other conflicts that we have been serving in 50 countries voluntarily in the past 35 years and 26 states in America. And I've seen in 30 seconds, 45 seconds, the whole house could be palace-like with chandeliers, crystals, all gone in less than 40 seconds. But if it's something meaningful that is in you, that's something that cannot be stripped away from you as long as you are alive. So that's what Viktor Frankl taught me, and that's why at Meaningful World, we carry on the importance of helping people find meaning. And it's not even, I don't know if you know, Viktor Frankl separated from Freud and Adler because he didn't like Freud focusing on only the mother and sexual conflicts and etc. And he was really, really deeply, even if he, as a survivor of Auschwitz and losing his wife, his whole family, he didn't come out with anger, revenge, and extreme negative emotions. He was filled with love, and he would crack jokes every 2 minutes. We're in a class and he's drawing caricature like Adler with a cigar and Freud with a pipe, and then he draws himself. He says, no pipe, no cigars, just meaning. And other jokes. And he, when I met him, he was 93, and he was almost blind. He was looking at his notes at this distance from his eyes. He had another wife that was younger, and she was helping him. And he had just, in spite of that, he had just returned from a rock climbing, mountain climbing trip, and came to teach. So extremely, extremely active. And those are some of the characteristics I think I value, and I recommend that you kind of be mindful to integrate laughter into your schedule, because as they say, children laugh at least 25 times a day, but humans, adults, it seems according to surveys, they laugh maybe once or twice hardly a day. So that's another way that we can bring peace within through bringing laughter. And we have rituals for morning and night. When you go on our website, you would see humor is 10-minute humor. If you can't laugh by yourself, then to watch like a dry bar comedy where there's no curses and language is clear and to make you laugh. Those are important ways to bring sense of meaning and sense of joy. What the Viktor Frankl emphasizes that meaning is very, very central. I can give you an example to hone that importance is that first, that no one can take that away from you in terms of war or the natural calamity. That's one. The second is that that in spite of all the challenges that you're going through, it's just like what Martin Luther King said, always keeping that meaning like your torch or your goal, and you're going that way. Your destination is to love, to serve humanity, to serve, of course, yourself first and then humanity. So having that like guiding star for you, so you're always motivated to get there. And when you do have all these suffering on individual, collective, generational, horizontal, and vicarious levels, the challenge of coping with that, it gets easier because you know you're gonna get there. You know that this is your passion and life purpose. And that makes the journey much more smoother and joyous, because you are grounded and moving towards a common value. A lot of times when I ask people for meaning, they mention my family, my husband, my wife, my children, my house, my things. These are all gone in 30 seconds, 40 seconds. So the real true meaning has to be some service, something that is not a material, that is not person, because everyone is, we are not here to stay. We're here as tourists, and we don't know when our journey ends, as I'm sure you've heard that before. So it's more important to look at what we are contributing. And I often say to my students, my clients, when they're especially around between 50 and 70, when they start whatever meaning they set in, personal meaning, my wife, my kid, my this, and those people travel or move or they're transformed to another form. So then they are lost. They have to reevaluate their life and create the sense of meaning, because every traumatic situation and also developmental change, anything, birth, death, marriage, unmarriage, buying a house, selling a house, all these situational and developmental experiences can change our meaning in life. So we have to always be mindful. Our research, we have done research in almost 20 countries about meaning and how it impacts levels of post-traumatic stress and anxiety. And it's consistent in all countries, even though they're all 10 different religious backgrounds, different languages, different countries, different continents, regions. Whenever a person has a deep meaning in their life, their level of PTSD is low. They're in the same war zone. They're in the same disaster situation with similar losses. But when they have meaning already set before the calamity, then their level of trauma is low. But when they are seeking and the trauma happens, their level of trauma is high, because then you're in the middle of seeking and you don't have time to process, because seeking takes energy while you are trying to cope with your calamity. So that is not a good combination. So the time is now, whenever you can search. Has everybody read Man's Search for Meaning? Few people. It would definitely be a wonderful, wonderful homework that everyone can read, Man's Search for Meaning. And he has over 30 books, and they have been translated into many languages, and each one is very, very unique. One quick example I wanted to give about that importance of meaning making. We had an intern that came into Meaningful World from Long Island, from a very wealthy neighborhood. And during our debriefing opening, she started sobbing. She said, just last year in my senior year, I went to 17 funerals of my classmates. We were shocked. Half were overdose, half were car accidents, driving fast or irregular, and others were suicide. In fact, today WHO sent a notice to us saying that every 40 seconds, someone is committing suicide. And in fact, the pandemic is not the COVID, it's the isolation and the loneliness that all around the world has been now infesting our community. And I'm so grateful for this community that's bringing together mindful people to come and continue the healing, because the 2-3 years of kind of wrong, I would say wrong recommendation, instead of saying social isolation, they should have insisted physical. I kept putting crosses on every social and putting physical everywhere I went, but it was already kind of a movement that nobody paid attention to. And now we are experiencing the outcome of that with loneliness, and it's affecting dementia, increasing depression, anxiety, suicide, addiction, and a lot of domestic abuse and child abuse. So coming back together is the key, and learning how to strengthen our immune system, because what they were doing is increasing the fear, and the fear shuts down our immune system because you're ready to fight and you're not able to protect yourself. So that's a good formula for disaster. But we had to go through the learning process, and hopefully that we're able to now pass on these wonderful messages to others and to other situations. Now, we as governments and countries, we pay so much economic and energetic value about borders. And you see, borders didn't do anything, neither for COVID nor the fires. We were breathing in New Jersey from my home, Canada's fires. So what are you talking about borders? We have to reshift our way of thinking that borders are useless when there is nothing that you can confine anymore. So we have to open up instead of closing ourselves. So many of us talking about Ukraine war, but how many of you know how many actual wars going on at this time? Can anybody guess? Over 35 active military conflicts going on. And one of them in my Armenia, that Azerbaijan has blockaded since December 2022. It's been 9 months now. 120,000 indigenous Christian Armenians in this place. It's called Artsakh, and is not letting humanitarian aid, food. Now they're gone. They finished all their food. Now they're starving. And there's no solution, it seems, not through UN, not through, because everybody is busy with stopping Russia. And a lot of our American fears of Cold War is surfacing. So everybody's talking about Russia and the Ukraine. Nobody is paying attention to other areas. The solution, so I presented many different, it is a crisis in a way that we're in, hatred, race, discrimination, that we witness as volunteers when we go around the world is really very, very unsettling. And the wars continue. It seems we use the old mentality to communicate or not. There are 35 active military wars at this time is causing tremendous problems with refugees all around. So according to my mentor, Viktor Frankl, the solution is to move our spiritual dimension beyond self-actualization. You know, at that there was a time with we were talking about the pyramid, and the most developed area is self-actualization. But he said the best thing is to transform into self-transcendence. I urge you to reach beyond self and dedicate yourself to a unique mission of life, serving others, serving yourself, of course, first, and finding a person, a group, sharing the love that you have. Yes, we are responsible for our self-care first. I really emphasize that. And but we are responsible for one another. We have moved ourselves from IQ. Remember when we were so obsessed about IQ, everybody had to go through the test, etc. And now, 20 years ago, they found that Goldberg and all that research, it's really EQ, emotional intelligence. Even Harvard Business Review the other day, they sent a research article that the successful CEOs are the ones that are using empathy and compassion and really being interested in the personal life. How is your husband? How is your partner? How is your family? How are your children? That, in fact, increased productivity and joy within the company. So that's whenever, of course, the capitalistic mind, they find more money, then they, I mean, for me, it's a healthy thing, empathy, as long as you're using it for a good purpose, go for it. So we have moved beyond IQ to EQ, emotional intelligence. And let us move now to SQ, spiritual and ecological intelligence that is universal, such as Universal Declaration of Human Rights. And it should be taught in every school, starting with kindergartens. I mean, they wait until they're in college, but these are basic life skills that need to be inculcated right from the sandbox and the kindergarten. Only then we will begin to fill and heal the spiritual holes in our souls. And thereby, as a Gaia hypothesis promises, it will also fill and heal the hole in our ozone layer and address some of grave ecological crisis we are experiencing. At this important juncture, I challenge all of us to muster the collective will to empower ourselves upward to a higher spiritual plane and to build social institutions such as this one that may inculcate spiritual intelligence and continue nurturing it in the next generations. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Your words are uplifting challenging, and inviting to all of us. Thank you. Thank you so much. And enlightening to all of us. Thank you. Oh.
Our latest book, the Reverend Ted.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much for being here with us today.
Thank you.
This is lovely.
Thank you.
And reminding everyone that the materials that she's working with and anything that's inspired you is on the back table for you to peruse and sign up for more information, and also get a chance to speak with this lovely, lovely person. Thank you. After our service today. And again, we will do a workshop with her at another time that we can all, from your inspiration today, know more about what you're offering and be so grateful for the presence that you brought us today.
Thank you so much. And I'd like to also thank everyone who has come in this rainy day and joined us. Also, special gratitude to David Babikian from Meaningful World and Natalia Tomasini. Thank you so much for your presence too.
Natalia, who is a member of our congregation, if you do not know her, is quietly sitting here, has made this introduction for us to find this beautiful woman, wonderful spirit, really offering us a chance to see ourselves here in New Jersey, and yet also as the full presence of love and life everywhere in the world simultaneously. Remembering that you are not local and you are local. And all the great koans of all the Zen traditions, you are everything, you are nothing, you are one, and you're individual. Once we figure all of that out, in grace, we move forward. Sometimes just in the moment of being able to say, we are here together as one. In this room, we expand the space into this town. We expand the space into this state, expanding again to this country, noticing each time the boundary fades, we step more fully into who we are, more expansively into our power. We cross any so-called borders. Our love is as stronger, is the strongest thing. So if smoke can get here, love can get there. Please feel that within you when you have your prayer time. Expand yourself beyond the limits of even this world into the total coherent alignment of the universe, knowing that you are, in the moments that you hold this, the solution. The only solution is to love more, to love more, to love more. So in this moment of great gratitude for this beautiful soul who has joined us today, who has lived her life with great purpose, who has given us a gift beyond what we expected this morning, we follow her call. Expand yourself into the wholeness of who you are. Lift up into your spiritual intelligence, your love intelligence, your holiness, and know that every footfall on this planet, every breath you take, receiving and giving, simultaneity of love. You are the gift that we are all waiting for. We are the gift we are all waiting for. And as one, all is well. And we say together, and so it is. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
sing thank you for this day together. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. Thank you for my friends, Spirit. Thank you for my friends. Thank you for my friends, Spirit. Thank you for my friends. My wonderful, my wonderful, my wonderful friends. My wonderful, my wonderful, my wonderful friends. Thank you. Oh, thank you. I'm so grateful. So grateful. Thank you. Thank you. I'm so grateful. So grateful. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. This beautiful, this beautiful, this beautiful day. This beautiful, this beautiful, this beautiful day. Thank you for my friends, Spirit. Thank you for my friends. Thank you for my friends, Spirit. Thank you for my friends. My wonderful, my wonderful, my wonderful friends. My wonderful, my wonderful, my wonderful friends. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. Thank you for this day, Spirit. Thank you for this day. This healing, this healing, this healing day. This healing, this healing, this healing day.
We allow ourselves to stand in the place of appreciation for this consciousness that is now, here and now, as CCL. The functioning, the operating, the loving, the financing, the blessing of this community. That we may make this possible for us to bring people here, to share their lives with us, to give us new possibilities. We are so blessed, we are so abundant, we are so loved, and it is all so good and so very good. And we invite your blessings and your gifts as we allow you to first breathe in to the receiving of all that you have received, all that you will receive, and all that you have yet to receive. Breathe in the great receiving. And we release and breathe out in the great giving, knowing that those things are simultaneously always one. And today in this offering, we ask for your financial support for this beautiful unfolding community we call CCL, the Center for Conscious Living. We bless this space knowing that we are a pillar of light, and all that emanates from this is the good, the whole good, and all the good. And so it is. If you'd like to stand and join us in this blessing.
The blessing of our offering. Thank you, God, for this abundance that is mine to share. I bless this gift and give it to thee in gratitude and joy, knowing that as I give, I do receive.
I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. This community of love that expresses itself to, in, and through. All the blessings of this moment.
All the blessings of this moment. Operator error. Let's try that again. Okay, we bless this holiness, this blessed moment, all of the giving and all of the receiving of joy, love, financial abundance, the great abundance of a beautiful rainy day, and the great abundance of love in all our hearts. Thank you for allowing this expression of giving and receiving to come here to this community today as we ground the light and spread the love. Thank you all. Many blessings. And so it is. I'd like to take a moment to mention that we had an amazing fundraiser last night, and I know about 99% of you know that because you either were there or were there or were there or were contributing and there or were contributing and not there or were whatever you were doing, you were part of it. It was fabulous. And if anybody's having FOMO, which means fear of missing out, if anybody didn't get there, we're doing it again. We're doing it again. And what we learned, we need all of you. We need all of us. And we really, really had a wonderful time. So we just take a moment as we're giving thanks this morning and give thanks to our musicians. And knowing that Ginger, as one of our musicians, made it here this morning after that great experience last night also. The blessings abound. The presence is palpable. It is all right here, right now. In this generous moment, we are the giving and receiving, the simultaneous breath of life. And in this place, I also would like to thank this morning. Well, actually, I'm going to take one more moment and thank the person who is obviously not here, which is Reverend Paul, who gave his heart and soul, who gives his heart and soul, right, to everything, and gave his heart and soul to that functioning of that event last night with his two angels who love to tease, play, and laugh with him and keep him on the straight and narrow, flowing freely. Melissa, thank you for your service. And Andy, I don't think you're here today, so thank you for your service. It was a marvelous team of joy and chaos, which was, of course, the way it was meant to be. So please know that all gifts were given fully and fully received, not only last night, but flowing through the night, through our dream time and into this morning, that we are gathered once again in this beautiful presence together. This morning, I would like to thank Jane, Will, and John for the setup, for Jody for the altar, Ellen for our refreshments, for media, again, too, Wayne, Keith, and John, for pastoral support, Nefertiti, for ushering, Harmony, and Jane, and for all of you to know deeply that whatever you have done, whatever hug you've given, whatever eye you've glanced in this morning, whatever heart you've opened, please know your service is honored, and we feel incredibly gifted in your love. Thank you.
Okay, everybody. So if you are here for the first time, and I think there's at least 2 people here that are here for the first time, we ask that you stand so that this beautiful, loving congregation can give you a special blessing. If you're new in your body for the first time because you feel like today is a brand new day, you may stand as well and join. There you go. All right. So if you will repeat after me, welcome to the Center for Conscious Living. We are a heart-centered spiritual community. And we open ourselves to you in love. We recognize the perfection of God within you. And we celebrate the joyous being that you are. You are a radiant point of light. And we are blessed by your presence. Welcome home.
We're going to do our announcements. So again, I just wanted to thank you, welcome you. And I understood that you had a quick announcement you wanted to make.
Actually, it's a reminder. Am I on or? Yes, always on. Reminder that the center is co-sponsoring our International Day of Peace, which is a United Nations resolution passed in 1984. And the commitment is that 21 September, every country has signed. I don't know if few will maybe not actualize, but their commitment is that they will have ceasefire even if they are in the middle of war. So the day is 21 September, and we have an event at Central Park at Strawberry Fields where we will stand up for peace, and we will have walking meditation, drumming, and also expressions of what peace means to each one that is witnessing there. Thank you for your co-sponsorship.
So we are co-sponsoring that event. Okay, we are co-sponsoring that event. So please feel free to find your way to 72nd Street and Central Park West to the entrance where the Imagine beautiful John Lennon garden is, where that peace garden is.
Yes.
Right across from where his life was taken. So it's a beautiful memory of the juxtaposition of life and how to hold it all as we walk through the streets of life.
Yeah.
So thank you, Dr. Ani, for that invitation. And yes, the Center for Conscious Living is part of that. And if you find yourself in New York City that day, that's why. Go check it out. All right. Thank you so much. And we will get you all the information, by the way, in the newsletter, so you won't have to remember this. Also, just again, one great big group hug to everyone who came, participated, who was able to make it, and know that no one missed anything. You were all in the perfect place, and it will come again, and we will all have a chance to do this even more. Foundations class, where it all begins, started last Tuesday night and actually remains open if there are those who want to join. This is the last class because we decided the overview class would be okay for someone to have missed, but really we get into the nitty gritty, so to speak, of your consciousness beginning this week on Tuesday night. So if you have taken it and you want to audit because you can't remember what on earth was in that class, that would be a cool thing. Every time we do that, we grow. So feel free to come audit, or feel free to come join the 9 or 10 others who are excitedly beginning this journey. And if you've passed that journey and you've passed the spiritual practices journey, you are welcome to join us in practitioner. We're doing something new this year where the first year practitioner training is open to anyone who have just completed those 2 classes. and do not necessarily want to go for the full practitioner license, which is a professional license, you can instead become part of the prayer ministry of CCL after a 1-year enrollment in this class. So we want you to know that we want to open this kind of inner education, this kind of inner opening and healing to all of you without you necessarily having to want to use it professionally. So if that's of interest to you, that class begins the 20th. Anybody who wants to know anything about it can get a hold of the office. You can reach out to me or to Marlene. You can ask any questions you need to ask to get clear. We would love to have you join us. It is a very full and exciting class. We're really looking forward to this journey. And the first part of the journey, well, the first year is 3 10-week sessions, and that will get you into a prayer ministry certification. And the whole program for practitioners is 2 years for your professional practitioner license, which means you can use that professionally in the world, and you can use it as part of what you offer your clients. So again, please ask us if that's not clear. We have, guess what? Live prayer every day, Tuesday through Friday on Zoom. You don't have to leave the comfort of your home, rain or snow or dark of night. You may just join us 12 noon for prayer. You do not have to actually say your prayers out loud. You do not even have to share. You may just come and listen and pray with us. It is a very opening, loving thing to do for yourself in the middle of the day, is to find yourself in a prayer with your friends. If you're having a rough moment, or even you're having the best day of your life, you get to share that with us too. So come and play. And all of this is, guess where? In your newsletter. Yay. So it's in your newsletter. And Unity World Prayer Day is the 13th. Please, I will be participating in that at the Unity Center on wherever, Church. Yeah. Church Road, right? Yeah. Church Street, Mount Laurel. Okay. And please come join us for that. Again, that's in your newsletter. And we just want you to know how much we love and appreciate you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for coming to classes. Thank you for eating refreshments. Thank you for enjoying the flowers. Thank you for all your love.
All right, everybody, let's circle up and sing the peace song.
Might as well come on down. So the good news is Ginger's going to get to join us in the circle today.
All right, everybody.
Are we good?
We're cozy today.
All right, our first note is let. Okay. Peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that is meant to be. With God as our power, family all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
And let's all just take a collective breath together. And in this breath and in this moment, let us all bring to mind someone, someplace that could use this breath of peace. Morocco, Hawaii, Syria, Israel, and also many places around this world. Peace begins at home in our hearts, and that's where it needs to start. And it is this community that brings the light to the greater community. So let's just breathe in peace and exhale love. And knowing that on this beautiful rainy day, that Mother Earth is nourishing not just the planet, but us. And being in deep, great gratitude, abundant thankfulness for this community, for each light that is here today, for those that are on Zoom that join us with their hearts and their minds. Grateful for our beautiful Reverend Catherine and for our wonderful Dr. Ani, who has graced us with her presence today. For the beautiful Ginger Coyle that has made this day perfect with her divinely guided voice. Truly grateful for this moment and this moment. And so it is. Well, we don't have Paul today, but
I
shoes to fill.
really just was appreciating this moment as the sort of low tech version of last night. I was like, we're all maybe just a little, all the instruments blew out and a few of our circuits might have gotten blown out. And, we're just blessing that all things are coming back into their wholeness. And in this moment, so we're going to just do this one maybe a little differently, but with just as much power and joy, because it's coming from me. Something wonderful is happening to me right now.
Something wonderful is happening right now.
It is this thing called life.
It is this thing called life.
Life is in my body.
Life is my body.
Life is in my mind.
Life is my mind.
Life is in my feelings.
Life
Life is in all my activities.
Life is all my activities.
I receive it.
I receive it.
I share it.
I share it.
I am it.
I am
And I accept it.
I accept
Just the way that it is.
just the way that it is.
Thank you, life.
Thank you.
And accepting all of these gifts, we say yes.
If you want to know more about Dr. Ani and the things that she does, there are things on the back table.